Hello, my lovely YouTube family. Thank you for coming again on my channel and clicking on this video. I believe it's going to be worthwhile. Today's video has another twist. I'm going to be looking at life in the UK, but an aspect of it is that I'm going to be looking at 7 things that I dislike about living in the UK. To give a brief introduction about myself, I've lived in the UK for a year now, and I've been working in the UK for this past year. So I'm going to shed some shocking lights on the things that I've come to shockingly dislike about living in the UK. So let's go straight into it. Welcome back. Let's go straight into 7 things I dislike about living in the UK. Number 1, no 13th month salary. What? You know, I came into the UK last year, and then I worked November. Well, I started working in October, then in November, and I was expecting that there would be some form of salary increment. I thought it was automatic. You know, I was expecting that, okay, December is coming, November, 13th month salary should come in. So when November salary came in and I didn't see 13th month salary, I began asking my colleagues, when are they going to pay the 13th month salary? And everyone was confused, looking at me, that what is that? I said, 13th month salary, like, you know, because it's December is next month, there should be 13th month. All of them were like, nothing like that, that's very strange. I said, what? I'm coming from Nigeria. Every single place of work that I've worked, and every place of work I know people have worked, I thought 13th month salary is a norm. So I was like, what? I thought Nigeria was even copying UK standard. No 13th month salary. That was a shocker to me, honestly. And that's the first one. I'll move into number 2. The second thing that I dislike about living in the UK, also concerning work, is that there are no Christmas hamper. I was surprised because I thought the UK is a home of gifts and pleasures. So it's shocking to me that after working my hands out, my sweat out, I was given no Christmas hamper. I was like, what? In the country where I come from, Nigeria, is it bag of rice? Is it bottles of big granite oil? You mean no hamper? I can't believe this. Put in the comment section if it's like that in every organization in the UK, because I'm like, let me even hear other people's opinions. I've just been here for 1 year, so it might be different in other places of establishments. But which now brings me to the third thing I dislike about living in the UK. Also, still concerning work, I believe in the UK there is enormous workload on staff. I'll give you an example. There are many places I will go into. For instance, the biggest pharmacy in the UK, and then I'm going in, and then I'm looking around. I'm expecting somebody to like take me to the section where maybe, for instance, to get a cough drug, and then there's nobody around to assist me. The only person I can walk to is someone at the cashier, and then I'm asking the cashier, please, I've gone around the big store, I cannot find the cough drug. And then the next thing the cashier is doing is asking an excuse for the people on the line and running to come and show me where the cough drug is, and then running back to the cashier desk. And I'm like, what is going on here? UK? Which now brings me to like, Nigerians, let us be talking good about our country. I've seen different places in Nigeria. For instance, going into a restaurant, you see that it's a different person who is serving your food. A different person is the one who is actually collecting the money that you're paying for the food. And probably a different person is the one doing the cleaning and the packing of the dishes. But in the UK, at least all the places, all the cafes I've seen, all the restaurants I've walked into, it's the same person that is taking the money from you. It's the same person that is serving you the food. It's the same person that is cooking the food. It's the same person that is packing your plate. It's the same person that is cleaning the floor. It's the same person that is going to the stock room and packing all the goods. I said, what is this? This is overload of work. And then it's so shocking because Nigeria is so different. I thought Nigerian employers were the ones who were known to use their employers like no man's business. And they use you till your last bit. And that's one thing I dislike about the UK. I am coming from an environment where it's a different person who does this and does that. But I notice that in most environments in the UK, because I've talked to other people, they say one person actually does almost everything in the organization. Wow. Comment in the section if I'm exaggerating. Number 4, another thing I do not like about living in the UK, which has been shocking to me, and I've been trying to bring myself together, is the poor quality of clothing. Poor quality of clothing. I mean, when I got to the UK and I started entering stores to shop for the winter, and then I'm buying sweater, I'm buying jackets, and then I'm seeing that within 2 washes, this jacket or sweater is removing all threads, is removing wools, everything. And I'm like, I thought UK was the home of standard quality. What's going on? I mean, UK is portrayed to be a place of highest quality, and then I'll be like, okay, maybe what I bought is too cheap. £30 sweater, which is not even cheap money. I go back to the store, the same sweater I bought for £30, I see it for £50. It has gone higher, and I'm like, okay, so it's not even about the price, it's the quality. But I noticed that the men's clothing, the quality seemed to be better than the ladies. Maybe they just come to a conclusion that ladies tend to dispense their clothes and get new fashion, so they've not put attention to quality anymore. I don't think it has always been like this. Maybe this is just a recent trend of having poor quality clothing across even major retail stores. Oh, this is one thing I do not like about the UK. The quality of clothing, I'm not impressed at all. The next thing I do not like about living in the UK, oh, unfortunately, is the poor access or the slow, delayed access to smooth healthcare. You know, everybody has been boasting the NHS is the best in the world. It's the best in the world. And I came into the UK and I tried to see a doctor. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I've not been able to see the doctor I want to see. And I'm like, and you call this the best? In Nigeria, if I want to see a doctor today, all I need to do is to walk into the hospital and do some waiting, and I see my doctor. But in UK, they tell you, no, you have to wait. And then you're waiting and waiting. You don't even have any hope till the doctor finally says, okay, come, it's your turn. Even if it takes 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I'm like, what is going on here? I do not like this about the UK at all. The delayed time in finding your doctor until you say it's in an emergency. Maybe that's when they will just say, okay, you can see your doctor. But I mean, the doctor, even when finally you say you need to see a doctor, the doctor is going to talk to you on the phone. It's as if they don't even want to see your faces. I'm like, oh. Another thing I do not like about living in the UK are the old houses. Of course, I appreciate that UK is an old country. I mean, the United Kingdom is an old country. But then, the houses are not modern. And me in particular, I just love modern architecture. So many times when I go out and I'm looking at the houses, I mean, the architecture is looking so ancient. It just doesn't bring pleasure to my eyes. I mean, the houses are just so old. And then many times also when you now, which brings me to my next point, the house, the spaces for the bathroom, for instance, you see the most tiny bathroom space you've ever seen in your life. I mean, you see the most tiny room space, tiny wardrobe spaces. And I'm like, what is this? The UK space is just too small. The houses are tiny. There's virtually no space to even park your cars. You hardly see a house with a garage. I mean, everybody just parks on the street. It is so different from where I'm coming from in Nigeria. And honestly, these points have just made me really appreciate Nigeria more. Another thing, which is the last thing I would say I do not like about living in the UK, I don't want to mention too many things, is the food. One thing that surprised me is that when I cook food, or even when I buy things from the supermarkets, for instance, fruits, and I place them in my fridge, they do not last long. They do not last long. Even the shelf life placed on them, on the labels, they do not even meet up to the shelf life. For instance, I mean milk. If I see milk on the supermarket and it says expiring in 2 days' time, I just know that it's going to expire a day even before the stipulated time. It's the same with fruits. You put fruits in the fridge and you think the refrigerator will expand the shelf life, but then these fruits will start getting spoiled even in the very cold fridge, which I find really strange because back home in Nigeria, when I put my fruits in the fridge, I'm sure that for 2 weeks, even with the light not being too stable and I put on my generator, I can still have my fruit, my oranges, my apples for 2 weeks and they are not spoiled. But you cannot try that over here. I mean, in just 3 days, you see your pears getting spoiled. Even in the fridge, even your food that you package and cook, you put in the fridge, it's getting spoiled. Even in the fridge. Hey, these are the things I do not like. Oh, these are things that have been shocking to me, which I'm still racking my head. Like, am I dreaming? Is this what is going on here in the UK? But I know you people might be asking me, you lovely viewers, like, okay, if all these things are, if it's that bad in the UK, why are you living there? Why are you still there? Watch out for my next video where I'm going to share with you also 7 things that I really like about living in the UK. Please feel free to comment in the section what were the things that shocked you about when you have lived in the UK, even if you have lived here for just 1 month, 2 months, 5 years, 15 years. What are the things that you found shockingly untrue? What are the things that you do not like about living in the UK? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again on my next video. Please remember to like, feel free to comment, and also share. Also subscribe. Is when you subscribe that you encourage me to make more and more content. Thank you very much. Bye.